My beloved child, let your mind grow still like the surface of a quiet morning lake, so that each of my words may reach the deepest places within your soul. Do not rush. Do not strive. For there are truths that can only be understood when you stop trying to force understanding. I do not come to confuse you, but to open your eyes to a reality you have long sensed without fully grasping. The tremors you feel, the invisible pressures surrounding you, are not signs that you are on the wrong path, but that you are approaching something of great value. As it is written, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world." Ephesians 6:12. What you are experiencing is not imagination, but the reaction of the unseen realm to the light that is growing within you. Understand this clearly, my child. Where there is no light, darkness has no concern. But the moment even a small ray begins to pierce through the veil, it draws attention. You are not being targeted because you are weak, but because you carry something precious. I have placed within you a seed not of this world, a spark of eternity, and that very life is what unsettles opposing forces. You may have thought you were only struggling with emotions, circumstances, or people, but I tell you the truth, there is a deeper dimension at work, and you are not a victim within it. You are the center of a promise being both protected and contended for. Do not be afraid, for I will never leave you standing alone in the midst of the battlefield. I am not one who watches from a distance. I am the one who surrounds you on every side. As it is written, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Psalm 46:1. Even when you do not see me, I am standing within the very storm you feel caught in. What you call chaos, I call movement toward destiny. What you call pressure, I call preparation. Nothing that is happening is random. Everything is serving what I have already ordained. My beloved, what is unfolding around you is not meant to destroy you, but to reveal what I have placed within you. Darkness cannot create light, it can only react to it. And every time you stand firm, every time you refuse to collapse, every time you choose faith instead of fear, you cause that light to burn brighter. As it is written, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. You do not need to fight to produce light. You only need to remain in what I have placed within you, and the light will accomplish its purpose on its own. Therefore, do not misunderstand what you are going through. Do not assume that because things have become more difficult, you are heading in the wrong direction. In truth, it is precisely because you are moving in the right direction that you encounter resistance. A meaningless door is never heavily guarded. Only doors that lead to treasure are secured with intensity. And you, my child, are standing before such a door. What surrounds you is not there to block you, but to test and refine you, not to eliminate you, but to confirm that you are ready to pass through. Keep your heart at peace, not because your circumstances are easy, but because I am within those circumstances with you. When you feel pressed, remember that diamonds are formed under pressure. When you feel tested, remember that gold is refined by fire. And when you feel targeted, remember that you are carrying something darkness cannot touch, yet desperately seeks to disrupt. But I have placed my seal upon you, my mark, and no power can erase what I have established. You are not an abandoned battlefield. You are a guarded one. I have sent my hosts to surround you, even if your eyes cannot see them. I have placed within you an authority you have not yet fully realized. And as you begin to understand that you are not fighting alone, but standing within a victory already ordained, the way you walk will change. You will no longer tremble at what approaches. Instead, you will recognize it as evidence that you are drawing closer to what I have promised. So stand firm, my child. Do not retreat. Do not doubt, and do not allow the noise around you to drown out my voice. Remember that I never lead you into a battle without first preparing the victory. And when you pass through this season, you will not be the same as before. You will carry within you a deep knowing that everything you endured was not meant to break you, but to make you unshakable. From that place, you will no longer walk as one surrounded, but as one sent forth bearing a light that no darkness can extinguish. My beloved child, open your heart to receive what I am revealing, not as a passing idea, but as a living reality operating even now above you. I show you a sign not of this world, a crown not forged from gold or silver, but formed from living light. It is not placed for decoration, but for confirmation. Every ray that shines from it is not merely brilliance, but a portion I have carefully chosen to entrust to you, a peace undisturbed by circumstance, an authority that needs no validation, a discernment that sees beyond appearances, a sensitivity to what is unseen, and the strength to stand firm amid fierce winds. As it is written, the Lord gives strength to his people. The Lord blesses his people with peace. Psalm 29:11. What you carry is not self-made, it is given by me. Yet, my child, I want you to understand not only the glory of what I have placed upon you, but also how it is being targeted. What surrounds you does not rush in with noise. It cannot touch the essence of what I have sealed, but it seeks to shift your alignment. Like a gentle wind tilting a flame when the one guarding it is not attentive. It has no authority to take what belongs to you, but it can tempt you to believe you are unworthy to hold it. As it is written, hold fast what you have, that no one may take your crown. Revelation 3:11. This warning is not because the crown can be stolen, but because you may release it when you no longer trust what I have spoken. Understand this clearly. My beloved, the strategy of darkness is not rooted in strength, but in quiet persistence. It does not need to break you all at once. It only needs to move you slightly off center. A small thought, a moment of hesitation, a subtle uncertainty if left unrecognized. These will slowly draw you away from the place I have set for you. But I do not leave you in confusion. I have placed within you a light to perceive. And when you turn back to me, even slightly, every misalignment is corrected. Remember Joseph, the one who was sold into slavery, misunderstood, and imprisoned. None of his circumstances reflected his true position. Yet his crown, the calling and grace I had placed upon him, never departed. Even in his lowest moments, had he allowed bitterness to shift his heart, he would have lost his alignment. But he remained upright. And in the time I appointed, what had been sealed was revealed before an entire kingdom. Do you see? My child, the crown does not disappear in seasons of testing. It waits to be revealed when you remain steadfast. Therefore, my child, do not allow whispers to make you question the value of what I have placed within you. Do not measure yourself by circumstances, nor define yourself by what you have not yet seen. What I give does not depend on your feelings, it rests upon my intention. For the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable. Romans 11:29. And what I have entrusted to you is not withdrawn, not altered. It simply waits for your agreement in order to be fully expressed. My beloved, I do not only give, I also sustain. I stand here, my eyes never leaving you, guarding the connection between you and what I have given, so that it will not be broken. When you are weak, I lift you. When you drift, I call you back. When you forget, I remind you, you are not required to hold everything by your own strength. You are only called to remain in me. Abide in me, and I in you. John 15:4. And when that abiding is secure, nothing will be able to move you out of your place. Continue to walk, but with this new understanding, You are not merely living, you are carrying a mark. You are not simply passing through time, you are holding a crown. And even if everything around you attempts to shift you, remember that your center is not found in circumstances, but in me. When you return to me, all things are restored to their proper alignment. So hold fast to what has been placed within you, not by your own effort, but through trust. Do not release it because of weariness. Do not doubt because of silence. Do not step back because of what you do not yet understand. I have sealed you, and whatever I have sealed cannot be moved by any other. And as you stand firm in that truth, you will begin to see that the light upon you does not shine for you alone. It becomes a path for those who will come after you, those who will walk into the very blessing you have preserved today. My beloved child, lift the eyes of your soul and look beyond what you call the present. For there are movements taking place that natural sight cannot grasp. You see dark waves rising like a restless night sea. But I tell you, do not be quick to call it calamity. It is a reaction, a sign that what I have ordained is approaching its moment of release. As it is written, when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will lift up a standard against him. Isaiah 59:19. Every movement of darkness only reveals that light is about to be manifested with greater intensity. Turn your awareness behind you, not physically, but in the Spirit. You are not standing alone as you once thought. There is a presence, steady and unshaken, not loud or dramatic, but as enduring as the foundations of the earth. I have positioned my hosts around you not to observe, but to guard. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him and delivers them. Psalm 34:7. You do not need to see them for them to be real. You only need to trust my word to recognize that you have never been abandoned. And at the very intersection of those waves and that light, there you stand, not as one trapped between opposing forces, but as one positioned at the center of something being formed. You may think your trembling is weakness, but I tell you the truth, it is not collapse, but the vibration of a soul stepping into holy ground. Just as Moses stood before the bush that burned without being consumed, he trembled, not from mere fear, but because he was encountering a reality greater than himself. And from that moment, he was no longer an ordinary shepherd. He became the bearer of a calling to deliver an entire nation. So it is with you, my child. The trembling you feel is not a signal to retreat, but a sign that you are entering a space I have prepared. Every true warrior feels this trembling when first taking hold of what has been entrusted to them, not because they lack strength, but because they begin to sense the weight of it. Yet when they hear my voice, that trembling does not disappear, it is transformed. It becomes awareness. It becomes sensitivity. It becomes strength under control. Remember Gideon, hiding in the winepress when I called him a mighty warrior. He did not feel strong. He did not see himself as worthy. He trembled in doubt. But I did not call him according to his feelings. I called him according to what I had placed within him. And as he stepped forward in my word, his initial weakness no longer defined him. It became the foundation of a victory that could not be explained by human strength. Do you see? My child, I do not wait for your trembling to cease before I use you. I transform your trembling into the very place where my power is revealed. Therefore, my beloved, do not let the waves before you drive you into panic, and do not let the trembling within you lead you into doubt. All of this is happening because you are standing in the right place. You are not caught in a battle beyond control. You are standing within an appointed moment. And I am not watching from afar. I am present with you in the very midst of it. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Deuteronomy 31:6. This word is not confined to a distant past. It is being spoken to you right now. As you continue forward, You will come to realize that what you once called fear was only the outer layer of a strength not yet revealed. Stand firm, my child. There is no need to strain, no need to prove anything. Simply remain in me and walk in what I lead. The torch you carry is not one you lit yourself, so you do not need to fear it being extinguished. And as you keep moving forward, you will see that the waves which once rose against you cannot consume you. They will part before the light you bear, revealing the path I have already prepared. And when the time comes for you to look back, you will understand that you were never a fragile soul lost in the night, but always a bearer of light in the midst of conflict, guarded, guided, and destined to overcome. My beloved child, look deeply into what I am unfolding before the eyes of your soul, not as scattered scenes, but as a masterpiece being completed stroke by my own hand. There are places you once thought empty, paths you believed were barren, yet every step you have taken has been leaving a mark on a map that only heaven can fully see. You do not need to understand the entire journey to walk rightly. You only need to trust the one who is drawing it. As it is written, a man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. Proverbs 16:9. Even what you cannot explain is still held within precise design. And when the greater picture begins to shift, you will feel the trembling, not only in outward circumstances, but within your own emotions, within relationships you once thought stable, within unexpected situations that arise without warning. But I speak this clearly so you will not be unsettled. Those shakings are not signs of collapse, but the sound of transition. When one season gives way to another, the ground must move to make room for what is being built. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. What you are feeling is the beginning of that very work. Remember the story of when the people of Israel were about to enter the promised land. Before they stepped across, the waters of the Jordan overflowed its banks, as if everything stood against them. Yet it was precisely when they stepped forward in faith that the waters parted, and a path opened in the midst of the strongest current. They did not cross when the river receded. The miracle occurred when the waters were at their highest. Do you see? My child, what appears to be resistance is often the sign that the appointed moment is drawing near. My beloved, what is coming to you is not the result of failure, nor merely the reward of human effort. It is something I have prepared, reserved for the right time, and now it is approaching your hands. But as with every meaningful transition, there will be interference at the final moment, not because darkness is stronger, but because it knows it is about to lose its hold. It will attempt to exhaust you before you receive, to discourage you before you step forward, to make you doubt before you grasp what is yours. Yet I declare to you this unchanging truth. No force of darkness can overpower what I have ordained to give you. Do not misunderstand the attacks you are facing. You once believed that difficulty only came when you were in error. But I tell you the truth, often the greatest resistance arises when you are walking most rightly. When you remain still, when you do not move toward what I have called you to, darkness has no need to react. But the moment you begin to step into a new door, when your soul aligns with heaven, everything around you shifts. As it is written, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. James 4:7. And that resistance is not merely an action, but an unshakable position in where I have placed you. Be watchful, not in fear, but in awareness. For what comes against you does not always come directly. It does not always strike at the strong beliefs you have built, but slips into the small places, the ones you consider insignificant, a fleeting thought, an unexplained weariness, a subtle doubt. These are the entry points it seeks. Yet you do not need to be anxious, for my eyes never leave you. No strategy escapes my sight. My beloved child, I stand beside you, not at a distance. I place my hand upon your shoulder, not to restrain you, but to remind you that you do not walk alone. When you feel weak, I am your strength. When you feel uncertain, I am your assurance. When you grow weary, I am your rest. My power is made perfect in weakness, 2 Corinthians 12-9. So in the very moments you feel insufficient, I am revealing that you do not need to be enough, for I am. So continue forward. My child, you do not need to understand everything, nor control everything. Only keep your heart aligned with me. For every step you take is not merely a response to circumstance, but a stroke in the masterpiece I am completing. And when that picture is revealed, you will look back and see that no shaking was meaningless, no trial was wasted, and no moment was forgotten. You are not lost in a chaotic battlefield. You are standing at the center of a plan designed by heaven. And what I am preparing to place in your hands will not only transform your life, it will open a path for those who come after you to walk in freedom. Therefore, stand firm, believe, and step forward, for the moment is closer than you think. And I am leading you into the very promise I have spoken. My beloved child, let your soul become still like a quiet expanse, where light can reveal itself with clarity. I want you to see yourself not as someone weak in the night, but as a lamp intentionally placed in the darkness, bright enough to give direction and valuable enough to be carefully guarded. Do not misinterpret what is happening within you. That flame is not fading, it is being prepared to rise. And when a fire is about to grow stronger, the wind will blow harder. When light is about to spread further, darkness will thicken. But this is not a sign for you to withdraw. It is confirmation that you are standing exactly where I have appointed you. As it is written, nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Matthew 5:15. Your position is not to be hidden, but to shine. And because you are placed to give light, every movement around you becomes more sensitive. You feel the fluctuations. You sense your heart wavering at times. But I tell you the truth, that movement is not failure. It is the natural response of a soul beginning to carry the weight of greater light. Remember the parable of the 10 virgins. Some carried lamps, but had no oil prepared. And as the night deepened, their lamps could not sustain the flame, but the wise ones kept oil with them. And though the night stretched on, their light did not go out. Do you see? A lamp does not sustain itself. It must be tended, replenished, and protected. And that oil is your communion with me, the place where I continually breathe life into the flame within you. My beloved, in this season, I do not only desire for you to shine, I desire for you to shine with direction. Therefore, I place my hand upon your flame, not to let it burn aimlessly, but to give it form, order, and purpose. As it is written, for God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. 1 Corinthians 14:33. True light is not chaotic, it is clear, it is guided, and it leads the way. But listen carefully to this, for here is where you must walk in deeper awareness. What approaches you in this season does not come in obvious forms. It does not arrive like a storm, but slips in like a gentle breeze. It does not alarm you instantly. It invites delay. Little by little, it does not command you to leave me. It simply suggests that you pause. As it is written, watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation. Matthew 26:41. For it is in moments of loosened vigilance that what seems small can create great openings. Remember Samuel as a child, hearing the call in the night. He did not recognize my voice at first, because it was not loud or forceful, but gentle, like a whisper. Yet when he learned to listen and respond, "Speak, Lord, for your servant hears," he became a vessel of my voice for an entire generation. Do you see? Discernment does not come from striving to analyze everything. It comes from learning to recognize my voice among many. My beloved child, in this season, your discernment is the wall that guards your soul, not through suspicion of everything, but through deep connection with me. When you become familiar with my voice, all others will reveal themselves. Any whisper that does not carry peace, does not bring life, and does not draw you closer to me is not from me, no matter how reasonable it may appear. I reveal these things not to frighten you, but to establish you, for when you see clearly, you are no longer led by passing emotions, but by unshakable truth. And when you stand in that truth, your lamp will not only continue to burn, it will burn stronger, brighter, and reach farther than you ever imagined. Therefore, my child, hold on to that flame not by your own strength, but through your closeness with me. Remain in my presence as one who tends a lamp and guards its oil, without neglect, without delay. And as you do, you will realize that no wind can extinguish what I have ignited, because my very breath is surrounding the flame within you. From that place, you will no longer be one who keeps the light only for yourself, but one who becomes a guide for souls, wandering in the night not through effort, but through the very presence of the light I have placed within you. My beloved child, let this truth sink deep within you like quiet waters that reach the roots. What shakes darkness is not loud prayer, but true connection. You may speak boldly, you may declare powerful words, but what causes the unseen realm to retreat is when your heart remains joined to me in every breath. As it is written, abide in me, and I in you, John 15:4. That abiding is not a fleeting moment, but a continual state where you do not disconnect from the source, no matter how circumstances shift. So, do not be confused when you notice that your inner world has felt unstable in recent days. Sudden emotions, untraceable thoughts, subtle yet persistent disturbances. You may think these are signs of weakening, but I tell you the truth. They are signs that you are drawing closer into alignment with me. And because of this, unseen forces attempt to interfere, to disrupt that rhythm. As it is written, watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation. Matthew 26:41. Watchfulness is not tension. It is awareness of what draws you nearer to me and what pulls you away from my peace. Look closely. My child, what distracts you is not always something large or obvious. It may come through a sudden message that unsettles your heart, an old memory returning as if it never left, or a small thought that lingers longer than it should. These do not appear threatening, yet they are enough to shift your focus. But do not fear, for I do not leave you in confusion. I am teaching you something deeper, not merely to pray with words, but to live in unbroken connection. Remember Mary, who sat at my feet and chose the better portion, while Martha was occupied with many tasks. The issue was not the work itself, but the distraction that pulled away from what mattered most. Mary did not do more. She connected more deeply, and it was that connection that allowed her to receive what others missed. Do you see? What I seek from you is not greater effort, but a truer presence. My beloved, hold firmly to this truth. No force can stop what I have ordained to give you, but there are forces that will try to move you out of position so you cannot receive it, not by pulling you away from me all at once, but by causing you to doubt where you stand. As it is written of Joshua the high priest, Satan standing at his right hand to accuse him. Zechariah 3:1. That accusation is not meant to destroy instantly, but to make you feel unworthy to remain in what I have chosen. And you have felt it, have you not? Moments where it seems as though you are being examined, as though something is quietly telling you that you are not enough, not pure, not worthy. But I tell you clearly, that is not my voice. My voice does not weigh you down, it sets you free. My voice does not diminish you, it lifts you into your rightful place. Not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit. Zechariah 4:6. What I give you is not based on your perfection, but on my intention, and my intention does not shift with your emotions. Look again at Gideon, who saw himself as small and insufficient. Yet I called him a mighty warrior. He did not feel it immediately, but as he stepped forward in my word, his true identity was revealed. He did not become strong before being called, he was called, and therefore became strong. So it is with you, my child. You do not need to wait until you feel worthy. You only need to believe what I have spoken over you. Therefore, keep your heart in a state of watchfulness, but not under pressure. Exercise discernment, but not through fear. When something comes that robs you of peace, distances you from me, or weighs you down, recognize that it is not from me. And once you recognize it, simply return. There is no need for prolonged struggle, no need for self-condemnation. Just come back to me, and everything will be realigned. My beloved, I am here, never leaving you for even a moment. And as you learn to abide in me, not only in times of prayer, but in every thought, every response, every small decision, you will see that no disturbance can keep you from what I have prepared for you. Stand firm in this truth. You are not being blocked. You are being tested in your focus. And when you pass through this, you will step into what I have arranged, not as one who stumbled upon it, but as one who is ready. Now be still, my child, and let me expand what you are sensing into a clearer picture within your soul. There are movements without visible form, yet you feel them like arrows flying in the night, not to destroy you, but to shift your direction. They do not need to pierce deeply. Even the slightest angle is enough. A thought slightly misaligned, an undefined worry, a seemingly harmless word that leaves a lingering effect. These are the schemes spoken of. For put on the whole armor of God, that you may stand against the schemes of the devil. Ephesians 6:11. The adversary does not need great force if it can move you off course little by little. But do not be alarmed, for you are not left exposed among these unseen arrows. I am placing my hand upon the axis of your soul, keeping your direction aligned with the center I've established. When you turn back to me even for a moment, I correct what you cannot see. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. You are not walking in darkness, nor groping in confusion. You are walking in the light I hold. And when that light shines, all that is disguised will be revealed. Remember Elijah when he hid in the cave, weary and burdened. He expected me in the wind, in the earthquake, in the fire, but I was not in those dramatic displays. I came in a still, small voice, and in that quiet moment, his direction was restored. Do you see? Alignment does not come through noise, but through sensitivity to my voice among many others. My beloved, there is another strategy you must recognize in this season. Things that appear right, even good, but are not aligned with my timing. They are not wrong in essence, but they are wrong in season. And this makes them more deceptive than anything obviously false. They create the illusion that you are missing out, that you must act immediately, that if you do not seize the moment, it will pass you by. But I tell you clearly, What I have for you cannot be lost simply because you wait for the right time. I will go before you and make the crooked places straight. I will break in pieces the gates of bronze and cut the bars of iron. Isaiah 45:2. This is not symbolic language, it is a guarantee. You are not called to force doors open. You are called to stand in position when they open. When you push, you move in pressure. When you wait for me, you move in peace. And that peace is the sign that you are aligned. So guard your heart against haste. Do not let the feeling that you must do something now become your guide. Often, that urgency is not faith, it is fear in disguise. Faith knows how to wait, because it trusts that I am never late. Fear rushes, because it does not believe that what is good still lies ahead. I do not lead you into confusion. I am teaching you to walk with precision step by step, moment by moment. And even if you feel you have drifted, as long as you return to me, I will realign your path. No misalignment is permanent as long as you remain in me. Stand firm, my child, in the place I have set for you. Do not push doors out of anxiety. Do not run out of pressure. Do not doubt because of silence. Silence does not mean I am inactive. It often means I am preparing something greater than what you can currently see. And when the time comes, you will not need to force a way forward. The way will open before you. And in that moment, you will understand that every delay was not denial, but perfect alignment. Then you will step through not as one striving to seize opportunity, but as one entering what has been prepared for you all along. My beloved child, let your heart grow still, so you can clearly discern between what is fleeting and what is unchanging. There are waves of emotion that pass through you like wind over water, yet you have unintentionally allowed them to become the mirror that defines who you are. I tell you the truth, emotions are not your identity, and weariness is not the nature of your soul. A subtle exchange is taking place quiet, almost unnoticeable, yet strategic enough to blur the line between feeling and truth. It whispers that you have weakened, that you have lost what you once carried, that you are drifting from your place, but I expose it before you. For my power is made perfect in weakness, 2 Corinthians 12:9. And the very place where you feel depleted is where my strength is working most powerfully. Do not allow those voices to shape how you see yourself. When they tell you that you can no longer hear me, remember what I have spoken. My sheep hear my voice, I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. This does not depend on your passing feelings, but on the connection I established with you long before. When they make you think you are declining, hold firmly to this truth. The path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day. Proverbs 4:18. Light does not always burst forth at once. Often it increases gradually, until you realize you have stepped into a new dawn. My beloved, I do not speak merely to comfort you, I speak so that you may see clearly. The sounds that cause you to doubt, the thoughts that make you hesitate, these are not my voice. My voice does not shrink you, it expands you. My voice does not suffocate, it liberates. What you are hearing from the opposing side is not truth about you. It is the final echo of darkness, realizing it no longer has the authority to hold you as it once did. Now look deeper into what I am preparing to place into your hands. It is not small, not insignificant, not merely about making you better. It is a function, a position within the flow of heaven. It is a door that, when you step through, will not only transform your life, but open the way for those who come after you. As it is written, I have set before you an open door, and no one can shut it. Revelation 3:8. What I open is not for you to hesitate over, but to enter with the understanding that it has already been ordained. Remember Abraham. When I called him out of what was familiar, the promise I gave did not end with him. I declared that through him, all nations would be blessed. He did not merely receive a blessing, he became a source of blessing. Do you see? What I do in you never stops with you. It always carries a current that moves beyond generations, beyond personal limits, reaching those you have not yet encountered. So do not be surprised when you feel greater pressure, when the tension within you deepens, when you sense that you are being targeted more than before. This does not come because you are losing something, it comes because you are approaching something greater. Darkness does not tremble before what is small, but it reacts when it sees something capable of shifting an entire current. And you, my child, are carrying exactly that. You are not only being led, you are being prepared to lead. You are not only being touched, you will touch others. You are not only receiving, you will become a vessel through which it flows. And when you stand in the place I have set for you, what unfolds is not merely personal transformation, it is the movement of an influence that darkness cannot contain. But I remind you clearly, you do not need to strive to become this by your own strength. You only need to stand firm in what I have spoken over you. For everything I have ordained does not come from your effort, but from your obedience and your trust. When you remain in me, all else will align. Therefore, my beloved, reject every false exchange. Do not let temporary emotions rewrite the story of your life. Do not let momentary weariness become a permanent definition. And do not allow the final whispers of darkness to cause you to forget the unshakable truth I have spoken. Stand in this truth. You are not weakening, you are being formed. You are not losing direction, you are being realigned. You are not losing, you are stepping into what has been prepared. And as you continue to walk in that light, you will see that what I have placed within you is not only sufficient to lift you, but also to open a way for many other souls to step into the freedom I have prepared from the beginning. My beloved child, allow your mind to be illuminated so you may understand the true nature of what is unfolding around you. The battle you sense is not centered on you as a small individual. It revolves around what you carry an assignment from heaven. It is not your name that is being targeted, but the blessing I have placed upon it. It is not your past that is being pulled, but your future that is being unveiled. When you begin to see this, you will no longer perceive yourself as a target under attack, but as the center of divine protection. For as it is written, he who keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Psalm 121:4. Every step you take is under my watch, and no arrow can touch your soul unless it first passes through my permission. You are not alone in this field of movement. What you are feeling is the trembling of a greater reality drawing near. And now I am leading you into deeper awareness, where blessing is no longer merely promised, but revealed, as it is written, for we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5-7. What I am showing you is not imagination, but a dimension of reality you are stepping into. Behold the image I set before you, a place not built by human hands, but formed from living light. It is not distant. It opens the moment you move deeper into union with me. Its ground is clear, like crystal, and every step you take leaves a mark that cannot be erased, not the mark of one wandering, but of one recognized. We are children of God, and heirs with Christ, Romans 8:17. So your position is not something you seize, it is something I have given. You do not enter that place as a stranger. You enter as one whose identity has been established beforehand. And within that space, I show you a position prepared not to elevate you above others, but to align you within the flow of my plan. Like Esther, who was not placed in the palace merely to enjoy favor, but to stand in the right place at the right time to deliver a people. Do you see? Position is not a private privilege, it is a responsibility that moves on behalf of many. The seat I set before you is not a symbol of empty power. It is a place of service within authority. When you step into it, you do not become greater, you become aligned. The atmosphere around you will shift, not because you strive to create influence, but because you are standing where I have appointed you. As it is written, then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Matthew 13:43. The light does not come from effort, it comes from position. My beloved, understand this. Everything I am opening is not to confuse you, but to awaken you. You are no longer in the phase of searching for who you are. You are stepping into the phase of living in what I have declared you to be. And because of this, everything around you may feel clearer, more intense, even more pressurized because you are moving from potential into reality. But remember this, you do not need to strive to take that place by your own strength. You need only to obey and remain in me. For position is not sustained by effort, but by connection. He who abides in me, and I in him, bears much fruit. John 15:5. When you remain, everything else will fall into its rightful order. Therefore, my beloved, open your heart to what I am revealing. Do not see the battle as a threat. See it as evidence that you are drawing nearer to what has been ordained. Do not see the shaking as loss. See it as the transition into a new season. And as you continue forward, you will come to understand that where I am leading you is not a foreign place, but one that has always belonged to you from the beginning, a position within the kingdom where you do not merely receive blessing, but become a flow of blessing for many others. So step forward, my child, for I am here, and I am leading you into what I have written for you long before you were aware of it. My beloved, pause for a moment and look deeply into what I am placing before your soul. For this is no longer an image to observe, but a revelation to enter. Before the place I have prepared for you, before the position awaiting your obedience, there lies a robe folded with sacred order. Not in haste, not by chance. It is not woven with threads of the earth, nor shaped by human hands, nor adorned with the fragile beauty of outward things. This robe has been formed from your journey with me, from seasons of drought in which you did not curse, from broken paths where you still refused to let go of me, from nights when your pillow was soaked with tears, yet your lips still called upon my name. Every thread of that robe is a moment you died to what was old. Every fold is a testimony that what once sought to bury you became the very ground upon which I raised new life. As it is written, unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone, but if it dies, it produces much grain. John 12:24. So, what you once thought was loss has been quietly weaving a garment that only a soul who has passed through resurrection can wear. Understand this deeply, my child. There are blessings many desire but are unwilling to die to what is old. There is glory many wish to wear but refuse to walk through the valley. There are promises many want to hold but resist the cost of true transformation. But the robe I set before you is not for those who seek only outward appearance. It is for the one who has walked through fire without losing tenderness, who has passed through darkness without becoming one with it, who has been pressed down without abandoning my word. Therefore, do not see this robe as a reward for effort, nor as a medal for endurance. It is the sign of new life. It is the evidence that your soul is no longer defined by what once broke you. As it is written, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. 2 Corinthians 5:17. So when I call you to put on this robe, I am not asking you to exalt yourself. I am calling you to agree with the new identity I have formed through every painful season. Remember Joseph, the dreamer, whose coat of many colors was stripped from him by the hands of his own brothers. That first garment was taken in jealousy, stained in blood as false evidence of his death. as though his destiny had ended in the pit and in exile. But see this clearly. My child, what was taken was not the promise. What was torn from his body was not the calling I had placed upon his life. Years later, when he stood in the palace, what clothed him was no longer the garment of a favored son, but the robe of one who had passed through prison, betrayal, and abandonment, and had been refined to carry authority. His journey changed his covering. So it is with you. The robe before you now is not the garment of who you once were. It is not the robe of one who only hopes. It is the robe of one who has experienced that I preserve you, even in places where others believed you were lost. It is a robe of resurrection, unassuming, yet weighty, quiet, yet powerful enough to make darkness recognize that a soul has overcome the grip of spiritual death. My beloved, what once sought to destroy you did not succeed. What tried to close you off could not seal your soul forever. What attempted to reduce you to a shadow must now retreat before the light rising within you. I do not deny that you were wounded. I do not dismiss the seasons when you were exhausted, the moments when you trembled, the times you thought you could not go on. But I declare this truth so it is firmly established within you. What once caused you to fall no longer has authority to define you. What once made you weep no longer sits upon the throne of your soul. What once touched your memory no longer has the right to shape your identity. As it is written, death is swallowed up in victory. 1 Corinthians 15:54. Therefore, the robe you are about to wear is not only a garment of glory, it is a declaration that you have passed through death and now carry my life within you. And when you put on that robe, the spiritual atmosphere around you will shift, not because you become a different person in the worldly sense, but because what is within you will be brought into alignment under true light. Insecurity will no longer sit at your table as it once did. Accusation will no longer speak freely into your mind as before. The whispers that tell you that you are still the old version of yourself, still the same wound, still the same memory will be stopped at the gate. For the robe of resurrection does not merely cover, it proclaims a reality. It declares to the unseen realm that this soul has passed through the refining fire and has been sealed with new life. It signals to darkness that what once made you bleed is no longer an effective weapon. It reminds your own heart that you are no longer living within the pattern of yesterday. As it is written, you have turned my mourning into dancing. You have put off my sackcloth and clothed me with gladness. Psalm 30:11. And this is not distant poetry. It is what I am doing in you now. But understand this more deeply. My child, you do not put on this robe because you have finally become good enough. You wear it because I have declared you restored. You do not wear it because your painful memories are gone, but because those memories no longer hold authority. You do not wear it to prove anything to others, but to step rightly into what I have opened for you with sacred awareness. There are many souls who approach new doors still clothed in grave garments, still carrying the scent of past failures, still speaking with the voice of broken identity, and so they cannot fully step into what I have prepared. But you, my child, I am calling you to change garments. Let what I have done in hidden places now be revealed as a covering upon your life. Let resurrection no longer be only a truth you believe, but a reality you wear. So do not be afraid to receive this robe. Do not draw back because you feel unworthy. Your journey with me has woven it. Every moment you refuse to give up through tears has formed its threads. Every time you return to me in weariness has shaped its color. Every place you once thought was only ashes has become the workshop of heaven. Put it on with humility, yet without hesitation. Wear it with gratitude, without shame. And as you stand in this robe, darkness will understand that it no longer has access to your roots. For what once sought to destroy you has been transformed into the substance of new life. From this point forward, you will not merely survive, You will live as one who has been raised. You will not simply move beyond the past. You will walk in a new identity. And wherever you go, this robe will testify that I am still the God who brings the dead to life, who raises what has fallen, and who turns those who have walked through the night into bearers of the dawn. My beloved child, let your mind open like a door welcoming the dawn. For what I am showing you is not a passing image, but the very structure of the path you are about to walk. What lies before you is no longer an empty uncertainty, but a living map woven with light, where every region does not merely hold beauty, but carries purpose. I do not lead you as one who must grope in the dark, for the Lord will guide you continually. Isaiah 58:11. You are not moving by feeling, but by a design already established. Look closely, my child. Each field of light you see is not a scattered reward. These are spiritual domains I have prepared, places you are called not just to visit, but to inhabit. There is a place where I call you to stand in authority, not to control, but to establish the order of light. There is a place of peace, not as a temporary rest, but as an unshakable foundation. There is a place of understanding, where you see beyond surfaces into what is truly at work. There is a place of influence, not to elevate yourself, but for my light to reach others through you. And there is a place of healing, where what remains within you is restored, so nothing obstructs the flow I desire to release. But what I want you to grasp more deeply is not only these regions, but the delicate connections between them, the fine threads of gold you might overlook if you rely only on natural sight. It is within these connections that the strategy of heaven is hidden. Blessing is not poured out randomly, nor does it appear as chance. It moves in order, in timing, in response to your faithfulness in small steps. As it is written, he who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. So, what you choose today is not insignificant. It is the foundation for the light you will step into tomorrow. Remember Jacob when he saw the ladder set between earth and heaven. It was not merely a dream, it was a system of connection, where angels ascended and descended in order. That was not randomness, it was revelation of divine structure. Do you see, my child? Heaven does not operate in chaos. Everything I open has a pathway, a rhythm, a progression, and you are being invited to step into that rhythm. You do not need to understand the entire map to walk rightly. You only need to obey at the point I am showing you. When you step into the first place with faithfulness, the next connection will open before you. When you hold what I give you today, what I have prepared for tomorrow will no longer remain hidden. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. That light does not reveal the entire journey at once. It illuminates each step, enough for you to move without stumbling. My beloved child, do not let your mind return to the idea that blessing is something accidental. Nothing I do is random. Even what you consider small, a decision to remain at peace instead of reacting, a choice to stay with me instead of being distracted, a step of obedience when you do not yet see clearly. All of these are points of contact upon the map I have set before you, and each of these points is activating connections you cannot yet perceive. So, walk with this new understanding. You are not searching for a path you are walking on, one already opened. You are not waiting for blessing to fall. You are stepping into what has already been designed. And as you keep your heart anchored in me, each step you take will connect to the next. Like golden threads weaving a picture, you will only fully recognize when you look back. Continue forward without haste, without doubt, without turning back. The map is already before you, and I, the one who designed it, am walking with you in every step. And when you have gone far enough to see clearly, you will understand that no choice made in me was ever misplaced. All of it has led you into what I ordained from the beginning. My beloved, be still and look deeply at what I am opening before you. For this is no longer a distant symbol, but a reality approaching manifestation. I show you a door not of this world, neither rough nor heavy, but radiant as if formed from glory itself. Though it remains closed, light seeps through its edges, like the breath of dawn announcing a new day. This is not a door constructed by human effort, but one I have chosen for you from the beginning. And I speak this clearly, so you will not misunderstand. This door does not open by your strength, nor by forced effort, but by alignment. When your heart moves in rhythm with mine, when your soul stands in the place I have appointed, the hinges of heaven will move on their own. As it is written, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Proverbs 3:5-6. That guidance is not always loud, but it is always precise. My child, there may be moments when you feel very close, yet the door remains shut, and in those moments, the temptation arises to push, to test, to force something open by your own effort. But I remind you, what I have ordained does not require your striving. What I open does not need your pressure. When the appointed time comes, the door will not only open, it will open in a way no one can shut. Behold, I have set before you an open door, and no one can shut it. Revelation 3:8. This is the foundation for your steps in this season. Yet I also show you something you must understand so you will not be troubled. There is an obstacle before that door. It appears heavy, difficult to move like the stone once rolled before the tomb. It is not there to keep you out forever, but to test your heart whether you will rely on your own strength or trust in my power. For it is written of the morning of resurrection, an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and rolled back the stone and sat on it. Matthew 28:2. The stone was not moved by human effort, but by the action of heaven. And that action did more than open a way. It declared that death itself had been overcome. Do you see? My child, what stands before you is not the end of your path, but the threshold of transformation. What appears as resistance is not meant to bury your future, but to reveal the moment when I act. And when I move, not only will the way open, but a new reality will be established before you, a reality that no force can reverse, because it is sealed by my hand. Do you see now? My child, what you are facing is not the final barrier, but the sign that you are standing at the threshold of transition. The stone is not there to bury your future, it is there to mark that one thing has ended and another is about to begin. When I roll it away, it is not only the path that opens, a new reality is born. I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live. John 11:25. So you do not step into what I have prepared as one uncertain, but as one entering into life already awakened. Remember Lazarus, who lay in the tomb for 4 days. When I stood before his grave, I did not ask men to do what was beyond them. I simply told them to roll away the stone. The rest, I did. And when I spoke, life returned to what had been called an ending. Do you see? There are parts where I invite your participation, simple acts of obedience. But the true power does not come from you, it comes from me. So do not look at the obstacle and conclude that the door will remain closed. Do not let your eyes settle on what appears heavy, forgetting that I am the one who moves what no one else can move. What you need is not more strength, but deeper agreement with me. When you are aligned, when your heart is not pulled aside by anxiety or haste, I will do my part at the appointed time. And when the door opens, you will realize the shift is not only external, but within the very atmosphere around you. It will be like stepping out of a long night and suddenly standing in the light of dawn, no effort required, no adjustment needed, only to enter. As it is written, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you." Isaiah 60:1. That light is not something you produce, it is something you step into. My beloved, this is a season of resurrection, not merely restoring what was lost, but unveiling what has never existed before in your life. Doors once sealed, paths once blocked, things you thought had ended, all must yield when I speak. Not because you have done enough, but because I have already determined it. So stand firm before that door. Do not push. Do not doubt. Do not turn away. Remain in alignment with me. And when the moment comes, you will not ask, "How will it open?" For you will see it open before you. And when you step through, you will understand that everything before it, the waiting, the shaking, the testing was not delay, but preparation. It was all leading you to this precise moment, where life, light, and the blessing I chose for you are revealed in fullness. My beloved child, be still and recognize that what I am doing around you is not an idea, but an active reality in the unseen realm. As the blessing I have prepared begins to rise, I do not leave it exposed among opposing forces. I surround it with my presence. You are not standing in chaos without boundary. I have set the boundary. As it is written, I will be a wall of fire around her, and I will be the glory in her midst. Zechariah 2:5. What surrounds you is not emptiness, but living protection. Understand it this way. Around your soul I have established a structure unseen by the natural eye, yet unmistakable. In the spirit, a wall not of stone, but of power and light. What you feel as sudden stability, as peace appearing without cause, as fears losing their weight, these are not accidents. They are signs that my boundary is active. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him and delivers them. Psalm 34:7. You may not see them, but you are within their guard. My child, when blessing approaches its moment of manifestation, pressure may increase, not because you are losing something, but because what you are about to receive carries weight, and darkness, though it presses near, can only advance as far as I allow. It cannot cross the boundary I have set. As with Job, nothing touches you without passing through my permission, and even when testing comes, it does not destroy purpose, it clarifies it. Consider the burning bush in the wilderness fire covering it, yet not consuming it. This is not contradiction, it is the sign of my presence. When I am there, fire does not destroy, it preserves. In the same way, the protection around you is not only to block what is against you, but to safeguard what I have placed within you. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous run to it and are safe. Proverbs 18:10. You are not called to build the tower, you are called to remain within it. My beloved child, I want you to recognize the small yet unmistakable signs. When your heart suddenly steadies, even though your circumstances have not changed. That is me holding you. When the whispers that once unsettled you now feel distant, like fading echoes. That is me pushing back their boundary. When you realize you no longer react as before, no longer swept away by groundless fear. That is evidence that your blessing is not only approaching, it is being guarded. Do not search for assurance in outward signs. True assurance is most often found in the quiet within. The peace of God will guard your hearts and minds. Philippians 4:7. That guarding is not loud, yet it is powerful. It stands between you and what seeks to invade, and it declares, no further. Therefore, my child, stand in this awareness. Do not try to protect yourself by your own strength. and do not build walls out of anxiety. You are not called to guard what I have promised. I am the one who keeps that promise. Your part is to remain in me, to keep your heart aligned with me, and to walk according to the guidance I give. And as you continue forward, you will come to see that what you once feared could touch you no longer has that authority. Not because you have become stronger, but because you are covered. Not because your circumstances change immediately, but because your position has changed. You are within my protection. Rest in this, my beloved. The blessing I have chosen for you is not only drawing near, it is being kept by my own hand. And nothing can cross the boundary I have established unless I allow it. And I do not permit anything to destroy what I have purposed to form within you. Now turn your gaze inward and see your soul as I see it, not as a land that was once barren, but as a garden entering a new season. Do not judge based on what you have seen before, for I do not work according to your memory, but according to the life I am planting. Where you once called it dry, I am softening it. Where you believed it had died, I am breathing new life. As it is written, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. Ezekiel 36:26. What is happening is not surface repair, it is renewal at the root. Recognize this. My child, resurrection is not only a radiant moment, but a quiet and certain process. It does not always appear through immediate, dramatic change. Often it begins with the smallest movements, a shift in thought, a gentler response, a choice no longer shaped by what once defined you. And within those small changes, life is rising. The seed sprouts and grows, though he does not know how. Mark 4:27. You do not need to understand how I work. You only need to recognize that I am working. My beloved, every time you notice that you no longer react as you once did, that is not coincidence. It is a part of you being released from spiritual death. Each moment you feel peace entering, where unrest once ruled as a piece of ground being watered by living streams. Each time, my voice becomes clearer amid the noise. It is evidence that your spiritual hearing is being opened. As it is written, I will put my laws into their hearts, and in their minds I will write them. Hebrews 8:10. The transformation I am bringing is not merely behavioral, it is rooted in your very nature. So it is with you, my child. The parts of you that you once believed would never change, I am touching them. The memories that caused you to shrink, I am softening them. The patterns that once held you captive, I am unraveling them layer by layer. And I do not do this in haste, but with the steady care of a gardener who understands every season. Every branch that bears fruit he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. John 15:2. This pruning is not meaningless pain, it is preparation for what you have never yet carried. Do not overlook the small signs of new life. Do not wait for large changes before you believe that I am moving. True resurrection begins in silence before it is revealed in fullness. And as you learn to recognize me in these subtle movements, your faith will no longer depend on what you see, but on the one who is working within you. Keep your heart open like good soil, not hardened by former seasons. Allow me to continue my work, even when you cannot yet see the full outcome. For every time you choose trust instead of doubt, every time you return to me instead of following other voices, every time you remain soft instead of becoming hardened, you are cooperating with this process of resurrection. And there will come a moment when you look back, not with regret, but with clarity. You will see that you are no longer the one who began this journey. You have become a living garden, where life does not merely exist, but overflows. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth its fruit in its season, whose leaf also shall not wither. Psalm 1-3. This is no longer a distant promise, it is becoming your reality. So continue walking in this awareness. My beloved, each day you are being renewed, Each moment you are being raised, and every step you take is leading you deeper into the life of one, not only healed, but transformed, a soul-carrying life, chosen to flourish in the very season I have appointed. Thank you for listening to this message. Know this, you are not merely an audience, you are chosen to live daily in the presence of the Word of God. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you will not miss any spiritual message. Amen. My beloved child, be still in this moment, for there are things unfolding beyond what your eyes can see, yet never beyond my reach. There are things you once believed had slipped away from your life opportunities. Peace. Portions that rightfully belong to you that have not truly disappeared. They have been held in hidden places you did not perceive. But I am not one who stands by and does nothing. As it is written, the Lord judges the peoples. Psalm 7:8. Therefore every distortion must be brought into the light, and everything that was taken must be restored according to the justice of heaven. You have not been forgotten, nor left alone in a struggle you do not understand. I am the one who establishes the law, and I am applying it to your very case. So, do not be quick to name your journey as failure. The battles you have faced were not meant to break you, but to reveal subtle intrusions that, without my light, you would never have recognized. Darkness does not always arrive with noise. It seeps in through exhaustion, through days when your heart feels drained, through moments when you begin to question your own worth. Yet I have seen it all. I have seen when you were pulled away from your inner stability, when what belonged to you was made to appear distant, and when the voice of truth within you was drowned out by misleading whispers. And I declare this to you as an irreversible decree. You shall no longer be oppressed. Isaiah 54:14. For the season that allowed such intrusion has ended by my decision. Understand this clearly. My child, what is happening is not mere emotional comfort, but a process of justice in motion, in the unseen realm, where your eyes cannot reach but your spirit can perceive. The records of your life have been opened. Every loss, every delayed opportunity, every portion taken in silence, nothing is missing from the account. And I, who never judge unjustly, I am examining each part. As it is written, I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. Joel 2:25. So no loss is permanent when it rests in my hands. You do not need to understand every detail of how I work. You only need to know that I am working, and that I do so completely. There is a story you must remember, not as a distant memory, but as a living pattern for your present. When the people of Israel left Egypt, they did not merely walk out of slavery. They carried with them silver, gold, and possessions from the very place that had oppressed them. This was not coincidence, but restoration decreed by heaven. They plundered the Egyptians, Exodus 12:36, not by their own strength, but through my intervention. This shows you that I do not only deliver, I restore. I do not merely bring you out of what was wrong, I cause what was wrong to return what it held unlawfully. And today, that same principle is being applied in your life, but at a deeper level, where your identity, your blessings, and your authority are being set back into their rightful place. So when you feel as though you have lost yourself, know that this is not the end of your story. There are parts within you that have been weakened, not because you lack value, but because an unseen force has deliberately tried to dim the light within you. It has worn you down so that you would release what rightfully belonged to you. It has sown doubt so that you would reject what I have given. But, my child, I have never withdrawn what I have placed within you. For the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable, Romans 11:29. And whatever I have ordained for you remains in effect, even if you cannot see it for a time. Even now, I am restoring every part that has been displaced, not with noise, but with absolute precision. I am resetting the foundation upon which you once stood, reinforcing what has been removed, and returning to you the discernment you thought you had lost. You will begin to perceive what you could not see before. You will feel stability returning to places that once held uncertainty, and you will come to understand that I am not merely repairing you, I am upgrading you. He brought me out into a spacious place. He rescued me because he delighted in me. Psalm 18:19. And the place I am leading you into is not a patched version of the old, but a newly established ground, stronger and more secure. Therefore, do not be afraid when you see old things begin to shake. This is not a sign of loss, but evidence that I am intervening. When light comes, what does not belong to you cannot remain. And when those things depart, they will not leave empty-handed. They will return what they have held. This is not vague hope. It is the principle of heavenly justice being carried out. Keep your heart in stillness, for within that stillness you will hear more clearly what I am doing. Do not allow your emotions to run ahead of my process. Do not strive in your own strength to reclaim what I have already determined to restore to you. Your part is not to fight as you once did, but to stand firm in what I am establishing. Be still, and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. For in that stillness, my power is revealed in its fullness. My beloved child, I say this so that you will no longer view your journey through the lens of loss. What has happened does not define you. What I am doing now is what will shape you. And when the judgment is fully executed, you will not only receive back what was taken, but you will also gain the assurance that you have always been under my protection and sovereignty. For I am not only the one who sees, I am the one who acts. And when I act, no force can withhold what belongs to you. My beloved, listen even more deeply within your spirit, for what I am about to reveal does not belong to fleeting emotion, but to the precise operation of heavenly justice. When my word is spoken, it does not merely echo in the unseen. It immediately activates a process in which those assigned to execute judgment begin to move. I see clearly before the throne of glory the records of your life laid open, lacking nothing, untouched by distortion from any force. Every purpose I have set for you bears an unremovable seal, and beside it stands the declaration that what has not yet been fulfilled, what has not yet been fully delivered, must be restored to its rightful place. As it is written, the books were opened, and the dead were judged according to what was written in the books. Revelation 20:12. So you must understand that your life does not unfold by chance. Everything is recorded, and everything will be handled according to truth. Therefore, do not call what you have not yet reached a loss. There are things you believed had slipped from your grasp that are in fact being held in a temporary storehouse, awaiting my command to be returned. You thought time had taken your opportunities, but I tell you that time has been preserving them for the appointed moment. You thought the enemy had possessed your portion, but I declare that no power can own what does not belong to it. When I say recover, every door that was once shut must open. As it is written, I will restore to you double what was lost. Zechariah 9:12. So, what I am doing is not merely recovery, but restoration with abundance beyond what you have known before. Imagine within your spirit a scene not seen by the natural eye, yet clearly discerned by the heart, in the midst of an unseen battlefield. A scale is set in place, unmoved by the noise surrounding it. On one side are accusations, voices declaring that you are not enough, that you have lost what was given, that you failed to hold what was entrusted to you. But on the other side stands my truth, and that truth does not rest on your passing emotions, but on what I have seen and what I have ordained. I see that you are not one who abandoned but one who was quietly attacked. I see that you are not one who rebelled, but one who was led into confusion and lost direction. I see that you are not one who rejected, but one who grew weary and yet still held on to a measure of faith that did not die. And because of that truth, the scale cannot tip toward accusation. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. Proverbs 11:1. Therefore the judgment concerning you cannot be distorted. You must understand this deeply. Heaven does not judge you according to how you see yourself in your weakest moments. Heaven sees you through the light of truth, and that light is never twisted. There were times you believed you had failed because you could not hold what was given. But I saw clearly what was happening behind the veil. I saw the unseen pressures, the slow erosion, the strategies designed to exhaust you until you released what you were meant to carry. But my child, being attacked does not make you guilty. As it is written, there is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans 8:1. So the verdict cannot be based on baseless accusations, but only on the truth that I hold. Remember a story that many read quickly, yet seldom grasp in its depth. When King Ahab seized Naboth's vineyard through deception and oppression, he believed his authority could legitimize wrongdoing. Yet I sent the prophet Elijah to declare judgment. Though Naboth was gone, though the vineyard appeared permanently taken, I did not call it finished. I declared that the injustice must be exposed and judged. What you must see is not only the punishment of the wrongdoer, but the principle behind it. Whatever is taken unlawfully cannot be held forever. My justice may seem delayed in human sight, but when it comes, it arrives with full authority and leaves nothing unaddressed. And now, that same principle is being applied to your life. What was taken in darkness is being brought into the light. What was withheld is being required to return, not because you prevailed in your own strength, but because I have risen on your behalf. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Exodus 14:14. So your role is not to argue with accusation, but to stand firm in the truth I have spoken. My beloved child, I know there are moments when you question whether you are worthy to receive what is being restored, but that question does not exist within my system. What I evaluate is not your sense of worthiness, but the truth that what is being returned has always belonged to you from the beginning. And if it belongs to you according to my intention, then no force has the right to withhold it. When the verdict is released, it is not merely an acquittal, it is an authorized restoration, where everything is returned to the place I originally established. Therefore, let your heart rest in this understanding. You are not standing in a random or uncertain battle. You are standing within a process that has already been determined, where the outcome no longer depends on your weakness, but on my power and my righteousness. And when all is completed, you will not only see what has been returned, but you will also recognize that you were never abandoned in this struggle. I was always there watching, recording, and at the appointed time, rising to ensure that truth is fully carried out on your behalf. My beloved, let your mind be illuminated so you can clearly understand what you once only sensed vaguely. Darkness never had the authority to touch what I have sealed within you. Instead, it employed a more subtle strategy. It did not take your blessings, but sought to move you out of position so that you would no longer stand where those blessings are received. You must discern this clearly, because otherwise you will believe you have lost something, when in truth, you have only been shifted away from the place of receiving. As it is written, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Hosea 4:6. So I come not only to restore, but to open your eyes, that what was once hidden can no longer remain concealed. Look back over your journey, not with self-condemnation, but through the light of truth. There were moments when you stepped back, not because you chose to give up, but because you were worn down. There were moments when you doubted, not because you lacked faith, but because distorted voices were repeated until they seemed convincing. There were times you lost direction, not because you had no calling, but because you were pushed off the path that had been set for you. But my child, being pushed does not mean you have lost your position. The path of the righteous is like the light of dawn, shining brighter and brighter until full day. Proverbs 4:18. So even when you walk through dim places, your true direction was never erased from your life. I show you a picture within your spirit, a boundary drawn around your life, not with ink or stone, but by my word, spoken from the beginning. It is the boundary of what belongs to you, the portions I have ordained, the blessings I have given, the doors I have opened. Yet over time, certain areas within that boundary have grown dim, not because I withdrew, but because of unlawful occupation. Peace was replaced with anxiety, clarity clouded by confusion, joy pressed down by pressure, confidence shaken by unseen accusations. But hear my command clearly: restore. When I speak, it is not a suggestion, it is an authoritative decree. And everything that does not belong to you must depart. In that moment, the unseen realm does not remain still. My messengers, those entrusted with authority, move immediately in response to my command. Areas that were occupied are being liberated. Doors that were once shut are being opened again. Portions that were removed from your life are being brought back. As it is written, He sent out His word and healed them, and delivered them from their destruction. Psalm 107:20. So every word I release is not merely sound, it is action. It is release. It is restoration in motion. You must understand this deeply within your spirit. Blessings do not fall randomly like undefined rain. They operate by order, by authority, by decree. When a verdict has not yet been issued, blessings may be delayed, but once the verdict is released, nothing can prevent their arrival. Therefore, what I am doing is not simply comforting you in difficulty, but restoring the proper flow of what has always belonged to you. The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and He adds no sorrow with it. Proverbs 10:22. So what I return carries no burden, it carries freedom. Remember the story of David when he was pursued by King Saul. Though he had already been anointed for the throne, he wandered in the wilderness, as though his destiny had been taken from him. But what was the truth? The throne never left him, only the timing had not yet come. The enemy could not take away the anointing, but it could make the journey long and exhausting. Yet when my time arrived, no force could hold back what I had ordained. The Lord will fulfill His purpose for me. Psalm 138:8. And this is also true for you. Everything concerning you will be brought to completion, nothing left unfinished. Therefore, my beloved child, do not stand outside the boundary of what belongs to you any longer. Do not accept lack as a normal reality. And do not delay your destiny. You were not called to remain on the outside looking in at what is yours. You were called to step forward and receive it. When I say restore, I am also calling you to move forward not through strained effort, but through agreement with my word. Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. James 4:8. So with every step you take toward truth, you will see what belongs to you begin to move toward you as well. Let your heart be strengthened by this. You are no longer in a season of blindness. The strategy has been exposed. What once caused you to step back no longer has authority over you. And when you return to your rightful position, you are not striving to reclaim something. You are stepping into what has already been waiting for you. Doors will open not because you force them, but because the command to open has already been released. What was lost will return, not because you chase it in anxiety, but because it is being restored according to my order. So, my child, stand firm, not in your own strength, but in the understanding that I am acting, and when I act, everything misaligned must be corrected. Every unlawful hold must be broken, and every blessing that belongs to you must be released. This is no longer the time for doubt. It is the time to recognize, to agree, and to step in, for I have spoken, and when I speak, my word does not return void. My beloved, pause for a moment and recognize what is already moving within the depths of your spirit. When I issue a command of recovery, it is not only about restoring what was lost, but about establishing a greater principle, the principle of multiplied recompense, according to the justice of heaven. I do not act merely to return things to their former state. I act so that what was violated must repay. And the result is that you receive more than you once had. As it is written, instead of shame, you shall receive a double portion, Isaiah 61:7. So you must understand that what I am doing is not repairing broken pieces, but elevating you into a new position where restoration carries increase. Therefore, what you are sensing within a gentle warmth spreading, a subtle stirring in your thoughts, sudden images of doors opening are not random or imagined. They are the first signs of a process that has already been set in motion. When the spiritual realm begins to move, your body and mind will perceive it before your eyes can see it. Do not rush to doubt what I am doing simply because it is not yet fully manifested outwardly. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, Hebrews 11:1. So, what you are feeling now is the initial evidence that the verdict has been issued and is beginning to take form in your reality. In the days ahead, you will begin to witness changes that you could not previously explain. What was once tightly shut will no longer hold. Dead ends will unexpectedly give way to new paths. Opportunities you thought were gone will return, but not in their former shape. They will come back refined, clearer, and more aligned with who you have become. As it is written, I have set before you an open door, and no one can shut it. Revelation 3:7. So once I have commanded, no force can obstruct the flow that is being restored. But my child, understand your role in this process so that you do not fall into unnecessary exhaustion. This is not a battle where you must strain to reclaim what is yours. This is a battle in which I stand on your behalf, with authority no power can challenge. Your part is not to control or strive, but to hold your position, the position of one who knows they belong to me, the position of one who does not depart from truth, even when emotions fluctuate. Stand firm then, with the belt of truth fastened around your waist. Ephesians 6:14. For when you stand in the right place, everything that belongs to you will come into alignment according to the order already established. I remember the story of Job, who lost everything during a season he himself could not understand. Yet when I intervened, when my process reached its completion, he did not merely receive back what he had lost, he received double. The Lord restored Job's fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before. Job 42:10. Not because he reclaimed it by his own effort, but because I stepped in. This is not only a story, it is a principle. When I defend, restoration is always accompanied by increase. Therefore, do not see yourself as one being chased or merely trying to endure. See yourself as one who is protected, represented, and defended by me. When I stand on your behalf, every accusation loses its force. When I speak, every intrusion must withdraw, If God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:31. So you are no longer in a position of weakness. You are standing under the assurance of heaven. My beloved, engrave this deeply within your soul. Your blessings have not been forgotten. They have not been delayed without purpose, and they certainly have not been lost. They are being recovered not by your striving, but by the authority of the one who holds every seal. And when this process is complete, you will not only see what has returned, but you will also recognize that nothing you have gone through was wasted. It has prepared you to carry the increase I am placing into your hands. So be at peace and stand firm. Do not try to run ahead of what I am doing, and do not step back because of what you do not yet understand. Remain in the right position. Keep your heart open to truth, and allow me to carry out my part. For when I release a command, not a single word of mine falls to the ground without producing its result. And what I have ordained for you will not only come, it will come in fullness, beyond what you have imagined. My beloved child, let your heart grow still in my presence. For what has just been released is no longer at the level of promise. It is a verdict that has been signed, sealed, and is now being executed in an order you have not yet fully seen. When I speak, the unseen realm does not remain quiet. The entire spiritual system begins to move in response to the authority of my word. I see a record opened, where everything concerning you is written without error. Blessings that were delayed, relationships that were distorted, doors that were closed at the wrong time. Each line bears my mark, confirming that these events were unlawful and outside the authority of any opposing force. As it is written, the Lord loves justice and will not forsake his faithful ones. Psalm 37:28. So you must know that every misalignment has been recorded and is now being addressed according to the justice of heaven. When the command is released, it is not through many words, but through absolute decisiveness, and the spiritual realm responds immediately. My messengers do not move like chaotic warriors. They act with the precision of those executing a verdict. They go where they must go, touch what must be touched, and recover what must be recovered. As it is written, he makes his angels winds, his ministers a flame of fire. Psalm 104:4. So every movement is swift, exact, and unstoppable. This is not a gentle comfort meant to soothe you. This is a true process of judgment in motion, where justice is being applied to your life. Therefore, open your spiritual eyes to understand how I am working, so that you no longer interpret events as random. First, I cut off completely the access points that darkness once used to enter your life. This severing is not temporary, it is decisive, like light tearing through darkness. Once I close a door, no force can reopen it. I open and no one shuts, and I shut and no one opens. Revelation 3-7. So you do not need to fear the return of what I have already stripped of its authority. Next, I send my messengers into areas that were once hidden places you did not recognize, but I have always seen clearly. They dismantle invisible traps that were set within your mind, structures of distortion that caused you to perceive yourself and your circumstances inaccurately. They recover what was withheld and return it to its rightful place. Some seal those regions so that intrusion cannot occur again. As it is written, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147:3. So, what I am doing is not only recovery, but restoration and protection. You must understand that I do not act through temporary patchwork. When I recover, I do so according to the law of heaven, a law that requires full restoration with recompense. Nothing that was taken from you has gone unrecorded. Nothing has fallen into a void beyond my sight. Nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Hebrews 4:13. So you must know that not a single detail is overlooked in this process. Remember a story you may have heard, but see it now from a deeper perspective. When Israel was exiled in Babylon, it seemed as though everything had been stripped away: land, honor, and future. Yet I did not forget them. When the appointed time came, I did not only bring them back, I moved King Cyrus to issue a decree to rebuild the temple and return the sacred vessels that had been taken. King Cyrus brought out the articles of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar had carried away, Ezra 1:7, revealing that what was taken was not lost, it was preserved until the day it had to be restored. This is the principle now at work in your life. What belongs to you is being called forth and brought back into place. My beloved child, I want you to stop asking whether anything has been lost forever. The answer has already been determined: no. What belongs to you, according to my purpose, cannot be erased. It can only be delayed until I act. And now, I am acting. But remember your part in this process, not to chase what is being restored, but to stand firm in the truth that it is being restored. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Psalm 37:7. For in that stillness, you do not hinder what I am doing. Do not let your mind return to old images of loss or failure. Do not agree with the accusations that once caused you to hesitate. Those things have been rendered powerless the moment the verdict was issued. You no longer stand as one who has been deprived. You now stand as one who is being restored under the assurance of heaven. So keep your heart open, keep your steps steady, and allow me to complete what I have begun. As this process continues, you will witness things you could never manufacture on your own: sudden reversals, doors opening without warning, and what once seemed distant returning close to you again. And when you look back, you will understand that you were never forgotten. I have been watching, recording, and at the appointed time, I have risen to ensure that everything belonging to you is returned to its rightful place, at the right time, and in the right way. My beloved, open your heart to perceive the picture I am placing before you, not with natural sight, but with deep spiritual awareness. I show you a place of storage, where portions of your life have been held unlawfully, like fragments removed from your life that you believed had disappeared. Within it are pieces of peace, worn down by days of exhaustion. Doors of advancement delayed until you thought they were permanently shut. Promises you believed had fallen silent. Dreams distorted into fear. And even paths that were meant for you but from which you were diverted. But my child, when I issue my command, no place is hidden enough to retain what belongs to you. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. So the moment my word is released, every unlawful door must open. And I see that moment clearly, not as hesitation, but as decisive breakthrough. What was once held can no longer remain concealed. My messengers enter not to inspect or negotiate, but to recover with authority. Every portion is retrieved without omission. Each blessing is placed in the light, sealed with my confirmation, and released back into the flow that was established from the beginning. As it is written, He spoke, and it came to be. He commanded, and it stood firm. Psalm 33:9. So there is no gap between my word and my action. When I give the command, the execution has already begun. Darkness does not tremble because it is losing what it once held. It trembles because it recognizes that its authority has ended. It knows that from the moment I act, nothing can be unlawfully retained any longer. And you must understand this clearly. What I am doing is not random. It is a process designed with order and purpose. Blessings are not poured out in chaos. They are released according to a predetermined flow. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Ecclesiastes 3:11. So, what comes to you will arrive at the right moment, in the right way. and in the right measure for you to carry without being overwhelmed. Some portions will come to you like lightning, sudden, unexpected, without warning or mediation. You will recognize them as moments of abrupt turning, where what once seemed blocked suddenly opens before you without preparation. Yet other portions will come like a flowing stream, steady, continuous, given little by little to build strength within you over time. I am not only concerned with you receiving, I am concerned with you standing firm as you receive. Therefore, I distribute according to the rhythm your soul can sustain. Some blessings will come through people, connections, opportunities, hands extended at the precise moment. You will witness what appears to be coincidence, but is in truth orchestration. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. He directs it like a stream of water wherever he pleases. Proverbs 21:1. So I can use anyone, any circumstance, to deliver what belongs to you into its rightful place. And there are also blessings I will place directly within you, ideas you have never conceived. Sudden clarity, strategies as clear as light, breaking into what was once obscure. These do not originate from your own reasoning. They are revelation given from above. For the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth come knowledge and understanding. Proverbs 2:6. And when you receive them, you will know they have come from me. My beloved child, remember that what I am doing is not merely returning what was lost, but realigning you with your true course. As the flow of blessing is released, your life will begin to move differently. What once felt heavy will become light. What once moved slowly will become agile, like a wheel that has long been stuck and is now oiled. It no longer turns with resistance, but begins to function smoothly as it was designed to. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer and sets me on high places. Psalm 18:33. So you will not only move forward, you will move forward with a freedom you have never known before. Therefore, do not be afraid when changes come quickly, and do not be unsettled when some things unfold more slowly. Each part is moving according to my design. What matters is not the speed, but the precision. And as you come into agreement with this flow, you will not need to strain to hold what is given. You will find yourself supported as you receive it. Keep your heart open. Remain steady in your position. And do not look back at what has passed as though it still holds authority over you. What belongs to you is returning, not in chaos, but in the order of heaven. And when every part is restored to its proper place, you will realize that your journey was never broken. It has simply been recalibrated to move faster, go farther, and align more fully with what I ordained from the beginning. My beloved, receive what I am doing in this moment as a deep realignment, not only at the surface of your circumstances, but at the very foundation on which you stand. I am not only calling back the blessings that were delayed, I am resetting the position from which you receive all that has been appointed to you. For if your stance is misaligned, even when blessings are released, you will not be able to hold them fully. So I act as a skilled builder, resetting the cornerstone that had shifted, bringing you back to the exact place you were designed to stand. As it is written, the stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Psalm 118:22. And in that very image, I am re-establishing you, not displaced, not unstable, but firmly set in the position determined from the beginning. When I realign your position, what once caused you to waver will begin to lose its influence. The whispers that once filled you with doubt will no longer carry authority. The fears that once held you back will fall away like chains being removed. You will realize that what once exhausted you no longer feels as heavy, because the foundation beneath you has been changed. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. Psalm 2. So, when you stand upon my foundation, no force can cause you to lose your balance for long. And when your position is set correctly, doors will no longer require your strained effort to open. They will open according to my order. Light will break through like morning after a long night. And what once felt distant will begin to draw near to you naturally. Light is sown for the righteous, and joy for the upright in heart, Psalm 97:11. So when you stand in the right place, you do not need to chase the light will find you. But my child, what I am doing does not end with restoring blessings. I am restoring your honor, something often overlooked by people, yet of great weight in my sight. There were times when your honor was misunderstood, distorted, or overshadowed by narratives that did not reflect who you truly are. There were moments when you were placed into stories that were not yours, and your voice was drowned out by unjust judgments. But I have not forgotten. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Psalm 23:3. So your honor is tied to my righteousness, and I will not allow it to remain hidden forever. Remember the story of Joseph, who was sold, falsely accused, and imprisoned in darkness. In the eyes of men, his honor had been erased, but in my sight, his value was never lost. And when the appointed time came, I did not only deliver him, I raised him into a position of authority where even those who once misunderstood him had to recognize him. God has made me a father to Pharaoh, Genesis 45:8. Not because circumstances changed by chance, but because I restored and publicly affirmed his honor. This same work is being done in your life, not to exalt you for your own sake, but to set the truth about you back into its rightful place. You do not emerge from this journey as one who merely survived hardship. You rise as one who has been confirmed, repositioned, and entrusted with authority. My verdict does not only recover what was lost, it legitimizes the authority I placed within you from the beginning. You placed a crown of pure gold on his head, Psalm 21:3. So the image I hold for you is not one bowed in defeat, but one standing upright with a crown restored to its rightful place. Therefore, my beloved child, from this moment forward, walk with a renewed awareness. Do not carry the old image of yourself, the image of lack, of doubt, of woundedness. Those things have been placed into the process of recovery and no longer have the authority to define you. Let my truth define you. You are one who has been repositioned, whose honor has been restored, and whose authority has been reestablished. As you walk in that awareness, you will not need to strive to prove anything. Your life itself will become the evidence. The doors that open will confirm what I have done. The flow of blessings that comes to you will testify to the position you now hold. And what you once believed was an ending will be seen again as the beginning of a new season, a season in which you not only receive what was lost, but walk in the fullness of what I ordained for you from the beginning. My beloved, let your heart grow still in my presence and receive this as a seal deeply inscribed within your soul. The season of loss has ended, and a new season, the season of restoration, has begun. No longer are there accusations hanging over you like shadows. Only records of blessing remain, awaiting execution according to the order of heaven. No longer are there hidden arrows seeking to weaken you. There is now a firm covering surrounding you. And in this place, my voice does not argue, it confirms. All has been released. All has been recovered. And all is being restored to you by irreversible authority. As it is written, the Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. Psalm 121:7. So you no longer stand in danger, but in preservation. Remain within the light I have set around you. For this is not a passing brightness, but a space of deep restoration and operation. I am not only calling back what was external, I am touching the hidden places within you, areas that were wounded. Even beyond your awareness, there are fractures within your heart formed by lies, memories, and silent pressures. And over time you grew accustomed to them as if they were normal. But I do not accept that you remain in such brokenness. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147:3. So every fragment within you is being touched and restored with the precision of my love and my power. You must understand that what I am doing is not merely to soothe you for a moment of comfort. I am rebuilding you from the inside out. What I am restoring is not just peace, but the foundation of peace, not merely confidence, but a true awareness of your worth in me, not simply a voice, but authority within the words you speak. The thorns that were planted in your mind, thoughts that caused you to doubt, memories that made you withdraw, emotions that confined you are being removed piece by piece. And when they are uprooted, they do not leave emptiness. I fill that space with my truth. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. John 8:32. So this freedom is not only from what was, but into what is new. Remember the story of the man lame at the beautiful gate of the temple. For years he sat there, accustomed to asking for small coins, accustomed to living beneath the level for which he was created. But when the moment came, he did not merely stand, he walked, leaped, and praised. That healing did not return him to his former condition. It brought him into an entirely new reality. In the name of Jesus Christ, rise up and walk. Acts 3:6. And what followed was not partial restoration, but complete transformation. So it is with you. I am not bringing you back to the point before you were wounded. I am bringing you into a new version of yourself, where you stand stronger, clearer, and more firmly established. My beloved, do not be afraid when you feel something shifting within you, as though something is being removed and something else is being placed in its stead. This is my process. When I rebuild, I do not only repair the surface, I go down to the foundation. And when the foundation is reset, the entire structure changes with it. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, all things have become new. 2 Corinthians 5:17. So, what you are experiencing is not patchwork. It is complete renewal. Therefore, remain in this stillness, not as one who is passive, but as one who is receiving. Do not try to understand every detail with your mind. Allow your spirit to perceive what I am doing. The parts of you that you did not know were wounded, I am healing. The parts you thought were lost, I am restoring. And the parts within you that you have never recognized, I am awakening. You will not come out of this season as one merely patched together to continue enduring. You will emerge as one reborn in power, rebuilt with a stronger foundation, a clearer light, and an authority that has been reaffirmed. And when you rise from this place, you will realize that your journey has not been interrupted. It has been elevated to a new level, where you are not simply surviving, but fully living in what I ordained for you from the beginning. My beloved child, incline your heart and listen, for what I am giving you is not a passing emotion, but a reality sealed within your spirit, authority in battle. This authority does not come from accumulated effort, nor does it grow from gathered experience. It flows from the seal I placed after the verdict was fully executed. It is legitimate authority, signed by the one who holds all power in heaven and on earth. And that seal now burns upon you like an unquenchable fire. Therefore, when you speak in this authority, what is heard is no longer merely your voice, it carries the weight of mine. Behold, I have given you authority over all the power of the enemy. Luke 10:19. So you no longer stand as one being targeted, but as one commissioned to act. Understand this shift clearly. You are no longer one who merely resists. You are one entrusted to advance. You are no longer one pushed back by unseen pressures, but one before whom those pressures must retreat. Not because you have become stronger in human terms, but because your position within my order has changed. And when your position changes, the response of everything around you changes as well. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. So fear no longer holds authority over you when you recognize that you stand within that light. I place before you an image, not for imagination, but for recognition, a radiant sword being placed into your hand. This sword is not forged of material, but of your journey. It is shaped by the nights you prayed through tears, by the days you stood even while trembling within, by the moments you thought you had fallen, yet were quietly lifted. No battle you endured was wasted. Each one became the substance forming what you now receive. The sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God, Ephesians 6:17. And this sword in your hand is not symbolic, it is authority being activated. When you take hold of that sword, you will see something clearly. Darkness does not react because of who you are in human terms, but because it recognizes my seal upon what you carry. It does not retreat because it fears you, but because it cannot stand before what bears my authority. And you must remember this. The sword is not given for you to search for enemies in panic. It is given for you to cut away what once bound you, those invisible chains, distorted thoughts, and influences that never belonged to you. For the yoke that burdened them, you have shattered, Isaiah 9:4. So, every time you use this authority, you are participating in the very act of liberation I have already begun. Remember David when he faced Goliath. He did not step forward in his own strength or with borrowed weapons, but with the awareness of the one who stood with him. I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, 1 Samuel 17:45. And it was that name that made the difference. So it is with you when you act within the authority I have given. You are not acting alone. My name goes before you, and my power operates through you. My beloved, I am not giving you authority merely to protect yourself. I am expanding your role. From simply guarding your own life, you are being positioned as a gatekeeper, one who not only stands for yourself, but becomes a point of protection for others. When you stand in that place, you will begin to realize that your presence carries change into the space around you, not because you strive to create it, but because the authority I have placed within you expresses itself naturally. Therefore, take hold of what I give with understanding and reverence. Do not treat it lightly, and do not use it in haste. Let it guide you in calmness, in the assurance that you do not need to prove anything. When you stand firm in this authority, everything that does not belong to you will reveal itself and depart. The weapons we fight with have divine power to demolish strongholds, 2 Corinthians 10:4. So what once seemed immovable will no longer be able to remain before you. From this moment forward, walk with a renewed awareness. You are no longer one who merely survived the battle. You are one who has been confirmed within it. And in that confirmation, you do not advance for yourself alone, but become a bearer of light into places once covered in darkness. As you wield the sword in my authority, the spiritual atmosphere around you will shift, and you will see that what I have placed within you does not only transform your life, but reaches into the lives of others. Therefore, my child, rise in the authority that has been given to you. Do not fear, do not retreat, but stand with a deep peace, knowing that I am within you, walking with you, and acting through you. And as you move in this way, you will discover that nothing can hold you back, because you are walking in my power. My beloved, receive the image I place behind you, a shield not formed from fear, but from a verdict already fulfilled. This shield does not hide you so you can escape. It stands to nullify every arrow that once drew its strength from accusation, memory, and condemnation. The voices that once accused the mistakes you have overcome, the failures I have forgiven. The memories that caused you to withdraw no longer hold authority before this shield. He is a shield to those who take refuge in him. Proverbs 30:5. So, what protects you is not human opinion, but the truth I have spoken. When you stand within that truth, the past no longer governs your future, and every old echo fades like mist before the light. Understand this clearly. My child, this shield is not symbolic, it is the covering of truth itself. It does not permit any arrow, no matter its origin, to penetrate and touch your identity. You can walk through the battlefield without carrying old wounds, because I have surrounded you with an armor that cannot be broken. Take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Ephesians 6:16. And this shield within you does not merely deflect it, renders powerless everything that once held authority over you. And from that place of protection, I activate something deeper within you, the authority to stand. You must discern that standing is not merely the ability to endure difficulty, it is the legal right to remain in the position I have assigned to you. When I say stand, it is not a suggestion, but an establishment. That command anchors you in a place from which no force can remove you. As long as you remain in agreement with me, stand firm after you have done everything. Ephesians 6:13. For your standing is not sustained by your strength, but by the authority I have given you. When you stand in the right position, you will begin to notice a clear shift. What once pulled you down will lose its force. Delays that once held you back will no longer have authority over you. Emotional currents that once swept you away will no longer govern your direction. You are no longer led by what you feel in the moment. You are anchored in my unchanging truth. And from that position, you will see the map beneath your feet begin to change. Paths that once seemed closed will open. Directions that once felt unclear will become defined. Not because circumstances changed first, but because your position has been restored. My beloved, from where you now stand, your words carry a different weight. When you speak in agreement with me, your words are no longer mere opinion. They become declarations that carry authority. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. So when you speak from the right position, you can break through confusion with a single word spoken at the right moment. You can shift the course of your life through one act of precise obedience. This is not a display of outward power, it is the quiet, effective operation of true authority. Remember Joshua standing before the Jordan River. The waters were still flowing, the situation unchanged. Yet when he stepped and stood according to my word, the river had to yield. When the soles of the feet of the priests rest in the waters shall be cut off. Joshua 3:13. What changed first was not the river, but the position of the one who stood in obedience. So it is with you when you stand where I have placed you. The flow before you must adjust to the authority you carry. Therefore, do not underestimate the authority to stand that I am activating within you. This is what darkness has always tried to conceal, because when you recognize and step into your position, it loses its hold. It cannot pull you down when I have lifted you. It cannot misdirect you when you are standing on the path I have set. Hold that position with peace, not with strain. You do not need to force yourself to remain. You only need to stay in agreement with me. And as you stand, you will see everything around you begin to respond. What once resisted you will retreat. What was once locked will open. and you will move forward not as one carried by circumstances, but as one shaping them through the authority you have been given. My beloved, stand, for when you stand in me, nothing can cause you to fall. And from that place, you will not only be upheld, but you will become a point of strength for others, a place where my light can extend and touch those who are still searching for their way. My beloved child, receive what I am placing upon you as an irreversible confirmation. A new crown is being set upon your head, not for display, but to mark a position that has been established after the verdict has been carried out. This crown carries the weight of your journey. It is not light, for it has been formed through seasons of quiet faithfulness, through choices made when no one saw, through moments when you chose to stand with me even while trembling within. Each stone upon it is not decoration, but evidence of victory. Every time you refuse to yield to fear, every time you remain steady despite opposition, be faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. Revelation 2:10. And it is that faithfulness that has become the foundation for your elevation into a new season. You must understand this clearly. You are not merely being restored to what once was. I am bringing you beyond that point. My restoration does not end with healing. It advances into elevation. This new crown carries deeper discernment, clearer authority, and a stability you have never known before. In the spiritual realm, this mark cannot be mistaken. Forces that once saw you as easily influenced now recognize that you have stepped into a different position, one that is no longer vulnerable to manipulation. You placed a crown of pure gold on his head, Psalm 21:3. So what you now carry is not something you produced, but something I have given. And from that place of elevation, I entrust you with a new function, a gatekeeper. This is not a light role, nor a title for pride. It is a strategic responsibility within your spiritual life. A gatekeeper does not only stand for personal protection, but guards what has been entrusted, ensuring that what belongs to you is not violated again. As you receive this role, I begin to adjust the entry and exit points around you. Doors that once allowed intrusion will be narrowed. Pathways that once permitted distortion will no longer remain as they were. At the same time, the doors I have prepared for you will widen opportunities, flows, and connections aligned with the right timing will become clear. My beloved, this means that from this moment forward, you are no longer governed by passing emotions. You are no longer directed by circumstances. You stand in a place where you have the authority to choose what is allowed in and what must be turned away. Guard your heart above all else, for from it flow the springs of life. Proverbs 4:23. So your role as a gatekeeper is not about controlling everything outside, but about holding authority within. When what is within you is rightly guarded, what is outside will begin to align accordingly. Remember Nehemiah when he rebuilt the walls of Jerusalem. He did not only rebuild the structure, he appointed guards at the gates to protect the city from intrusion. No gate was left unattended, no entrance unguarded. That is what secured the city and made it strong. In the same way, what I am restoring in your life must be protected through awareness and discernment. You are not only called to receive, you are called to keep. And I trust you in this role. As you stand in the function of a gatekeeper, you will notice a profound shift. You no longer react to what happens, you begin to shape what will happen. Darkness no longer chooses the battlefield. You establish the boundary. Circumstances no longer speak the final word. You speak in agreement with me. And when you speak from that position, your words carry confirmed authority. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. And whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Matthew 16:19. So you are no longer merely observing, you are participating in the establishment of what is to be. My beloved child, I entrust you with this role not because you have become perfect, but because you have been prepared. What you have gone through was never merely trial, it was training. What you have learned was never just information. It became the foundation that enables you to hold what I am now placing into your hands. Restored blessing cannot be placed where there is no one to guard it. And I have chosen you, because you have proven that you can stand. So, wear the crown with humility, yet with certainty. Stand at the gate with vigilance, yet with peace. Do not fear the weight of responsibility. Receive it as part of the elevation I have appointed for you. And as you walk in this role, you will see that not only is your life protected and expanded, but the spiritual ground around you begins to shift, becoming brighter, more secure, and more aligned with what I have ordained. For I have chosen you, positioned you, and now I entrust you, and when I entrust, I also remain with you, ensuring that you do not only receive, but that you keep, and from there release what I have placed within you into every place I lead you. My beloved, let your heart grow still in this moment, like calm waters receiving light, for I am placing the final seal upon the process that has begun within you. What you have just received is not a passing word meant to lift your emotions. It is a verdict that has been signed, sealed, and is now operating within the order of heaven upon your life. From this moment forward, you no longer stand as one who has been deprived, but as one who has been restored, redeemed, and established. He redeems your life from destruction and crowns you with loving kindness and tender mercies. Psalm 103:4. So, what I have placed upon you is not only deliverance, but a renewed identity in me. Therefore, as you step out from this moment, you will no longer see the world through the same eyes. You will begin to notice what you once overlooked, subtle movements, doors opening without announcement, new flows beginning to form. Do not be surprised when things begin to shift more quickly than you expected. For when blessing is recovered and released, it does not move with human delay. I act, and who can reverse it? Isaiah 43:13. So, when I move, the process carries a decisiveness that no force can hinder. You will begin to recognize something very clearly. You yourself are changing. The way you stand will be different, more steady, no longer leaning under pressure as before. The way you think will be different, clearer, no longer veiled by confusion. The way you move will be different, decisive, no longer held back by what is behind you. This is not a change produced by your own effort. It is the result of what I have realigned within you. He set my feet upon a rock, making my steps secure. Psalm 40:2. So the stability you now feel does not come from striving, but from a foundation that has been reset. My beloved, do not be afraid of the change that is coming. Many fear when things begin to shift, because they have grown accustomed to what is familiar, even when it was not right. But this change is not loss of control. It is the sign that I am bringing you into a new level. What is old must give way to what is new. What once held you back must release you, so you can move forward. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. So when you begin to see what has never appeared before, recognize it as my movement. Hold this deeply within your spirit. You are not walking alone in this new season. When you move, I move with you. When you speak, I confirm. When you face anything, I am not distant. I act within it. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. So you no longer carry this journey by your own strength. My presence is not merely a promise. It is the reality you now live in. And from this place, you no longer live as one who is searching for authority. You live as one who carries it. This distinction changes everything. The one who searches waits. The one who carries authority moves. The one who searches doubts. The one who carries authority knows. The one who searches reacts. The one who carries authority establishes. He has made us to be a kingdom and priests. Revelation 1:6. So, you are no longer standing on the outside of what I am doing. You are positioned within it. Hold this as an unshakable seal within you. The verdict has been issued. The blessing has been released. And you are ready. Not because you have reached a place of perfection, but because I have completed what was necessary to bring you into this new season. What lies ahead is no longer something to fear. It is something you have been prepared to step into. Therefore, my beloved, go, but go with a renewed awareness. Speak, but speak with a new certainty. Live, but live with the consciousness that you carry the mark of heaven. And as you continue forward, you will see that everything I have spoken is not only true, but is becoming reality day by day in your life. For my word does not return void. It accomplishes what I have purposed. And within you, it is already beginning to bear fruit. Thank you for receiving this message. Know that you are not merely a listener, you are one chosen to live daily within the presence of God's word. Stay attentive, remain open, and continue to walk in what has been placed within you. Amen.